Welcome to the Hey Legal Quiz with me, Edith Forrest. The aim of this quiz is to provide some light-hearted entertainment during lockdown and beyond. I'll be asking 20 questions of leading Scottish legal figures, questions which give insight to their careers and their lives beyond the law. So let's begin. So I'm joined by my benchmark colleague, Tommy Ross, QC. Hello, Tommy.
Hiya, how you doing?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm good. I'm a bit hot in this conservatory, but other than that, I'm fine.
Okay. So I nominated you to take the quiz, so thanks very much for agreeing to do it. So we'll just get started with the first question, Tommy, is if you weren't a lawyer, what would you be?
Well, it's quite a difficult one for me because uniquely, I think I wanted to be a lawyer from the time I was in the kind of later part of primary school. So I've never really had to apply my mind to it. I've really been determined that's what I would do from quite a young age. But I think anything which involves sort of studying in a straight line, I'm quite, if I'm interested in a subject, I'm quite happy just to sit down and read everything on the subject. So maybe, I don't know, history or, something like that involves a lot of research. I've always been quite happy just to pick a subject and learn as much as I could about it. So maybe something along those lines, but I've never really had to think about it seriously.
Right, okay. All right. Question number 2 is, did you have a nickname at school? And if so, what was it and why were you given it?
I never really had a nickname at school, but in the area in which I grew up, by the sort of late 70s, the boys that I ran about with knew that I was destined for law school, and a television programme came on called Petrocelli, American, I think he was a New York lawyer, so this became quite popular and all my pals used to call me Petrocelli. I never ever saw it, actually. And a couple of years ago, one of my pals bought me all the scripts, which have been published in a book, but it never really meant anything to me because I never saw the programme.
And do they still call you that? Your pals from school?
Every night, not all the time, no, but it still comes up every now and again when we're out for a pint. Aye.
And were you a SWATy type at school? That's question number 3.
I don't think I was really. The school I was at was a kind of typical counsel, comprehensive, and understandably, I suppose, they selected about 60 pupils who they thought might be competing for O-levels and higher, and everybody else was kind of left to do what they wanted. So I was in the top 2 classes, and the rest of the school, I suppose, would have thought the people who were in the top 2 classes were the kind of SWATy types, if anybody was at that school. But not the stereotypical SWATy type. No, I mean, I still went out and played football and did all the daft things that everybody else did growing up. But I did study, but I don't think I would have been identified as a SWATy type.
You managed to carry it off well.
Hopefully, I never get into any trouble. It was a strange kind of school because there was some real kind of SWATy types, and they did get a bit of a hard time sometimes in the bus and coming and going through the school, but I never did, so I must have been able to carry it all right.
Okay. Question number 4, what was your first job?
Well, I was the oldest Sunday paper boy in Scotland, I think, at one point, because I had quite a lucrative Sunday paper run in Cardonald, which was mainly multi-storey flats. So you get the lift up at the top and come down the stairs, and it was actually quite easy, and also I was making quite good money at it, so I actually kept doing it until I left university. So I was about 23 and I was still delivering the papers. But the first real job I had was postman. There was a post office depot near my house, and at Christmas they used to take on students to cope with the Christmas rush, and I did that a couple of times, and the full-timers used to really take the mickey out, and they did practically nothing, and they left the students to do all the all the heavy lifting. So I wasn't really cut out for it, but it was quite good money. So that was really my first job. And my last, I think, other than being a lawyer, I haven't really done anything else.
Okay, all right. Question number 5, Tommy, how do you define success?
I think probably reaching this age without doing a job that I didn't want to do. You know, I've been quite lucky. I think some people have to make sacrifices and maybe do a job for 3 or 4 years to get somewhere else. And I've never done that, really. I was quite happy where I worked before I went to the bar, and I only really left there because I wanted to go to the bar. There was no bad blood or anything like that. And then when I went to the bar, obviously there was a kind of pressure to go into Crown Office, but I didn't want to do that, so I never did it, and still managed to move on. So I think that's probably quite a good definition, that after working for 35 years, generally speaking, I've only ever done things that I wanted to do, you know.
So you always enjoyed it, like your work as a solicitor, then moving on to the bar. You've not had any thoughts of this is not what I want to do. It's always, you've always felt you were on the right track.
Well, I was always kind of moving in the right direction, you know. I mean, it's a kind of traditional legal aid firm apprenticeship when you start in the office, and then you're in the district court, and then when you get a bit more confident, you're in the sheriff, and then you're doing sheriff and juries. And so I was always kind of moving, you know, and I was obviously going to Stewart Street Police Office on a Sunday morning when there's 200 people in custody and they're all steaming drunk and 4 men in a cell and all that. Nobody enjoyed all that, you know, and it was quite a strong motivation for getting out of this solicitor's profession and going to the bar. But I liked the clients, you know. People, when I went to the bar, people said it must be great. You don't have to deal with clients. And I always liked dealing with the clients. It was the kind of admin and that kind of thing I didn't like, but I was never miserable, you know. I was always going to go to the bar at some point, and it seemed a good time to do it. But I think I've been lucky. I've seen people in jobs that they hate, and you know, if you get financial obligations, it can be difficult just to walk out the door. I've never been in that situation in my life, so that's maybe success. Yeah.
And just, you mentioned Crown Office there, as you say, quite often, or I suppose it's an expectation sometimes of people taking a stint there, whether that's kind of full-time or ad hoc or whatever. You've never done any prosecuting or never felt the need to do that?
I mean, I never thought I would do it. I had a kind of understanding with my dad that I wouldn't do it for kind of personal reasons to him, but I don't think he would have been really, really angry if I had done it. I never really fancied it. And then there was some pressure put on me to do it, you know, and that's the kind of worst thing you could do. So it became kind of obvious it was operating as an obstruction when I first applied for Silk, for example. And it's just my kind of personality. If somebody says you've got to do that or you won't be rewarded, my personality is to say, well, I'm not doing it. I'm not going to be forced into it. And I then paid for a website and put on the website that I had never prosecuted and never would prosecute. I think some people thought I did it as a kind of advertising thing, but I didn't. I did it just to say, I'm underlining this, you know, stop phoning me up and saying, you know, when are you going into Crown Office? Because I'm not going to do it. So, and I wouldn't have enjoyed it. You know, I'm not a team person at all. I love the people who do it and I admire them, and I acknowledge that they've got skills that I don't have because I've never done it. So it's not a personal thing in that sense. I'm not a team person, and I'm not ready for somebody to say to me, we've got a 4-week fraud in Inverness, so go up and do it. But, you know, I've never been in the position where I had to do things that it didn't suit me, so I'm not going to go into an organisation where, you know, I'm going to be ordered a bit for 3 years.
Quite right. A lone wolf, Tommy. You're your own man. Okay. Sorry, I took you right on track there. We're now on question number 6, which is favourite drink.
If you'd asked me 3 months ago, I would probably have said lager. I'm prone to going out on a Saturday tea time and meeting my pals and having a couple of pints, and I'm looking forward to doing that again. When I'm in Ireland, I only ever drink Guinness. I like Guinness in Ireland. I don't drink it here. We go to the Lake District with the dogs quite a lot. I drink real ale in the Lake District. Hate it in Scotland. Never had a good one in Scotland. But in the lockdown, I've hardly touched lager or beer. I've been drinking white wine at the weekend. So at the moment, I'd say sort of New World Chardonnay, something like that, But that'll go out the window once the pubs open again.
Okay. You can't very well be sitting with a wee glass of chilled wine with your pals, can you?
No. I don't think it's more the kind of, I only go really for the social aspect, Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, but no, it's not the kind of group where it would go in particularly well if you come in and ordered a glass of Chardonnay. I think you'd gone a bit mad.
All right. Question number 7 is, what don't you like about your job?
I don't like having to review old cases. I don't do much appeal stuff. Don't really do any on a formal basis. I look at stuff, and somebody will send me the charge for a case I did 3 months ago and say, look, you're not doing the appeal, but could you have a look at the charge? And I hate that. It's just things that I've already done are just no longer all that interesting. And the charge, 90% of the charge, obviously straight out of the jury manual, and it's a kind of mixture of boredom and depression because you know that you've lost the case and that some other person's having to try and dig the accused out of that particular hole, and so you're reading it remembering that you lost it, and also you've got 20 pages or 30 pages to read, and I don't really like that, and I don't really like going to Edinburgh. I've got a strange relationship with Edinburgh where I actually love it when I'm in Parliament House. I love the tradition and the layout and all that, but I hate getting there and coming back, and it's I'm not there that often actually, but that is a downside if you get a 3-week trial in Edinburgh and you get that commute. I get it easy. I'm at Glasgow. I shouldn't even be mentioning it when you see the shifts that other people have got, but that's not a good part of the job, having to travel to Edinburgh at 5 a.m.
Yeah, no. Question number 8, Tommy, is which is your most memorable case to date?
Probably the Inverkip case, just because of all the fuss that went on round about it, it's quite a long case, but actually just before it I did a longer case. I've had 2 trials which were longer. I did a terrorist case a few years ago which ran for about 12 weeks. I had a case just before the Inverkip case which ran for about 12 weeks. But there was factors in that out with it. It was televised, which was interesting, and the fact that it was televised led to other things. We did a press conference at the BBC, and we were invited to the screening when the thing was first televised and all that. That's never going to happen again. So nor is it going to happen again that you're at Tesco's trying to buy a bottle of wine on a Friday afternoon and somebody in the car park comes up and starts talking to you about it who you've never met before. So there's a variety of unusual features which I don't think will ever be repeated. So it's really got to be that. Okay,
all right. Question number 9. Tell me one thing that would surprise me about you.
I don't know if it's surprising, but I've got strange kind of dietary habits. I've been a veggie since 2013, and since my birthday last October, I've gone 100% vegan. So it's not as unusual as it used to be, but I suppose it's still unusual. I don't really know anybody else who is in my circle of pals and relatives, so I don't know if that's a surprise. I don't regard it really as a big thing, but I suppose it's still quite a small percentage of the population.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Question number 10. What traits in others irritate you the most?
I don't like people who are rude. I don't like people who are not nice to the court staff, the clerks and the macers, and you don't see that much of it, to be honest, but occasionally you have people who kind of come swaggering in full of their own importance and don't treat the support staff well. So I don't like that. I don't like people that try to make every situation all about them, which is a trend, and I've become a bit obsessed with the conduct of lawyers on social media. I've got to tell you that. It's easy to become upset, but the way that some of them carry on is just extraordinary, and a lot of problems which start in England eventually end up in Scotland, and quite a few fines have been dished out to barristers and solicitors in England for inappropriate conduct on Twitter, and Twitter particularly, and £10,000 fines and referrals to the bar standards boards and all that. And I read all that, and then I read some of the things that quite prominent solicitors in Glasgow say on Twitter, especially the younger ones. And when I say younger, I mean anybody younger than me, which is quite a kind of wide group. But I mean, just swearing, just, calling people this and that, and think, you're a solicitor, for God's sake, you can't behave like that. But the lockdown has got worse. I mean, clearly people are going mad because they're stuck at home, and I mean, if anything, it's got worse. I mean, the last couple of weeks when there's been the protests, the level of behaviour by some qualified solicitors on Twitter is frightening, and it's only a matter of time before somebody makes a complaint and somebody gets their knuckles rapped for it, So that saddens me a wee bit, but it may be it'll just take somebody to go right over the top and, get suspended or fined, and everybody else will fall into line. So that's one to keep an eye on, I think.
Yeah. I think people forget, though, that, they're not just communicating with the people that they're commenting on their posts. I'm fairly new to Twitter, and I must admit I'm still getting to grips with it. I don't really know much about it, but that's no excuse for not realising that once you put something out there, that's it for the whole world to see. Never mind a legal community. So I
like it, and actually it's incredibly useful. But I mean, there are some people who comment regularly on legal issues, and that's interesting to see people's perspective. There's other lawyers who comment on every single news item that occurs, Britain, Europe, USA. I'm not interested. I'm not really getting any interest in what solicitor in Glasgow thinks about US foreign policy or something. We've got political commentators, but it's become, there are people who think that they're a kind of spokesperson for who knows what, and therefore they've got to be commenting on things repeatedly and getting themselves into trouble over it, getting involved in arguments with members of the public, which ends with them swearing at each other. It's a bit worrying.
Yeah, absolutely. A straightforward one, I would think. Question 11, favourite flavour of crisps?
Kind of vegan thing limits me a wee bit, but recently in the vegan pack that I'm sent by a supermarket in Glasgow, they had, I think it was haggis and black pepper or something like that, which they assured me were vegan, and they were really, really nice.
Okay.
But I've always got to read the ingredients, because a lot of them have got milk and egg in them, so a lot of the really kind of popular brands are out the window. So used to really like the Thai sweet chili ones, but they've got milk in them, so they're banned.
And what do you use then as a substitute for milk and dairy products?
I've tried them all. I mean, I only really use them if I need to. I wouldn't sit and have cereal with soya milk or anything like that. But obviously, some things have to be made with milk, and I would use the almond milk or soya milk or something. But I don't know. I mean, I don't do it. Alison does all the cooking, so it's really more an inconvenience for her than it is for me, to be honest. But
and is your wife Alison a vegan as well?
No, she's a complete opposite. She's a carnivore. So if we were going on a big night out, she would have a steak, So, but she cooks a lot more now because just the two of us, it's kind of easier, So she'll make sauces, and then she'll have the same sauce as me, but she'll just have a steak or something, But it's really not as difficult as people make it. Your brain sort of forgets about all the things that you used to enjoy, and you just start kind of enjoying other things. It's not really a big deal.
Okay. Question number 12 is, what book would you recommend that everyone should read?
Bleak House, actually. I'm a big Charles Dickens fan, and I've read all the books, and I think it's natural for anybody who's trying to get into Dickens to read all the very, very popular ones, Great Expectations and, Nicholas Nickleby and all that. That was one that it took me a few years to get around to, but I don't know, it's a lot of legal content in it as well. Maybe that's part of it. There's a famous sort of chancery case. He used to become obsessed with social problems, and he'd been reading about this chancery case in England which had been running for about 30 years or something, and he decided to protest against it. He would write it into his book. But it's a great book. It's got about 7 different stories running through it, and it's one that's not spoken about that often.
Yeah.
But we were in New York actually a few years ago, and one of my big regrets, one of the actors who was in Bleak House, and I've completely forgotten his name, an English actor, and Sky did a thing a few years ago. It was called Mad Dogs. I never watched a single episode. It looked terrible. But the trailer, it was with 4 guys who'd gone on a stag night or something, and they ended up getting kidnapped. That was it, I think. Anyway, he was one of them, and he was in Bleak House, and we were in a cafe in New York, and he was sitting across from me.
Right.
And man, I cannot remember. I wanted to go over and say, "You were," and I couldn't remember what character he'd been. And I bostled it completely. The guy was kind of sitting his own, and he saw me looking at him, and he wasn't very welcoming. I think he was just putting the kind of protective guards up in case we were nutters. And I left, and I was out of the place about 20 minutes, and I remembered that he had been in Bleak House in the BBC dramatisation, and I thought, there's my opportunity. If I'd gone over and been able to say to him, I remember, that you were in that scene, and he might actually have been impressed by it. But as usual, you get the best ideas an hour after they're most used to you.
Oh dear. Okay, question 13. Do you have any irrational fears, Tommy?
I'm not a great flyer, to be honest. I used to cope with flying quite comfortably by having a drink at the airport, but that's kind of getting out of fashion a wee bit. So I don't know how I'm going to cope with the new strict sobriety regime that they're operating at the airports. Never used to get drunk, but I would very seldom, if I was going on holiday, got on the plane with it a couple of times because I don't like it. My sister worked with BA for years, and we had a couple of scares. There was a plane come down when she was working, and we had to phone the helpline number and all that just to see if she was on it, because we never knew where she was,
Yeah.
And she had a flatmate who was killed. There was a BA jet went into a reservoir near Heathrow in the 70s, and one of her flatmates was killed in it. So it was a kind of theme, and I don't like it, and I would never go in. I know you've done it, but I would never go in the wee jets up to Lewis and Stornoway and all that. I would never do that. I've also got a real fear, and I don't know if this is irrational, about level crossings.
Okay.
So roads which cross railway lines. And I don't suppose it is irrational, because they've almost done away with them completely now because so many people were killed on them. But I remember going to Corton Vale years ago, and I was far too early, and I decided to go to Bridge Island. And when I was driving the road between Cotton Vale and Bridge of Allen, I realised that there was a level crossing across the railway, and I then had to do a kind of 3-point to 10-point turn in this A road, because there was no way I was going over this railway line,
Really?
I think it's a fear that probably everybody doesn't have, but I don't know if it's irrational. I mean, the idea of getting hit by a speeding train while you're sitting in a car probably is a perfectly irrational fear, I think.
I would think so. And like you, I would still go over it, but I would still, I'm looking down the track thinking, imagine if a train just hit me right now. So yeah, I think that's a irrational fear to some, but very rational if you're that concerned about it. Question number 14, your oldest pair of shoes.
I don't have any old stuff, I'm one of the few things I spend money on is clothes. I buy a lot of clothes and I buy a lot of shoes, and so does Alison actually, and we've kind of run out of room. So if I buy new stuff, I really just need to get rid of the old stuff. So I've got into a regime where I've always got a kind of bag of clothes for the charity shop in Govan going, and they get all the, so when I buy a new pair of shoes, the oldest ones go there. So I'll probably not get anything that's any older than about 5 years, So I can't help you with that, really.
Yeah, and you're quite, you're well known for being quite a smart dresser, Tommy. Especially like your colours of blue. So are the some shoes that you send off to? It's Matzo's, isn't it?
Aye. Charity. Short Street in Govan. They're a charity for asylum seekers, and they've got a hook-up with the Home Office, so people arrive at the Home Office in Brand Street in Govan, and if they've got nothing, which a lot of them do, they send them there, and they give them a kind of voucher where they can, dress the families. So it's not like some of the big charities that are paying chief executives $250,000 and all that. It's nuts and bolts, the stuff you give them, you can be confident within a week somebody's going to be walking about, with it on their back. So I quite like it. So good people as well. It's hard to get to. They only open to 4:30 on a weekday, and they don't open the weekends. So I guess kind of constant battle to try and get there and empty the car and give them all the stuff, and some of the people in the High Court have brought stuff in for me, so I quite regularly get the whole back seat of the car and bin bags to go to the shop, and it can take me a month to get there. So I don't any longer store anything long term. I buy stuff. I just hope I can get into it now. I've been cutting about in t-shirts for 3 months, so might be a big bag going to Matzo's if I can't get any of my suits on, at the end of this.
All right. Question number 15, Tommy, is who's had the biggest influence on your career in the law?
In the law, it's a kind of difficult one. I would, in the first place, I would say my father, but it's a strange story really, because he got into a fight with the police when I was about 7 or 8, and he ended up being prosecuted and quite badly treated. I think he'd kind of broken ribs, and he ended up on the wrong side of the prosecution and all that. And he never really got over it. So as I was being brought up, he was always talking about that, and it's hard. When I was only 7 or 8 at the time, it's impossible to imagine that didn't have quite a big impact on me. But on the other hand, he had his problems himself, and sometimes he was kind of holding me back just by some of the things he did. So I also feel necessary to say my sister. I've got a sister who's 7 years older than me, and her mother left when I was 8 and she was about 15, so it was a strange kind of relationship where at 15 she kind of became my mum, not quite, but it was a different brother-sister relationship, I suppose, and she was a real big influence and was always really, really interested in everything that was going on. I mean, she was always 100% sober. My dad was a bit of a drinker, and when he was sober, he was interested and encouraging, and he was a really bright guy. But there was all times when he went off the rails, and it was my sister that kind of held it together. So I always, I would say her really, and in later years, Alison, obviously, because I've been with Alison for years and years and years, and she was supportive when I was a trainee and an assistant, and then I just walked at one of the most successful legal aid practices in Scotland because I fancied going to the bar, and a lot of people, I suppose, would say, what the hell are you doing? You're happy, you're making money, what you doing? So she supported me with all that. But the funny thing, actually, with my sister is when I was at school, I was quite good in the class I was in, but I was never first, and there was a female who was always first. And we used to drive my sister mad, and she was always saying, what was second again? Was it her again? And she was more annoyed about it than I was, actually. And ironically, years later, the two of them ended up in the benefits agency in Glasgow. And my sister was the boss of this girl who used to beat me every time in every exam. So, but they got on pretty well. Once she got it off her chest, they used to break her heart by beating her wee brother all the time into second place. They became quite good pals.
And do you still have that close relationship with your sister?
I don't see that much, She moved, she's over in Giffnock, she's retired now, and she's got a house in an area that you know very well in Alva, and now she's retired. She's there about 3 months. So I'm always in contact with her, but we were never really the type where we would go out for a drink or anything like that, It's, I don't know, I don't really, I don't tend to go that much these days, and neither does she. So we have a good time when we get together, but I just, for years I've just been so busy. It's my fault, if there's been any distance, it's entirely my fault, just because I've thrown everything at work, and I've let a lot of kind of personal things pass me by, and probably neglected my sister a wee bit. So I apologise for that, but I think she realises I'm just kind of single-minded about things, and no any personal insult to her or anybody else.
No, I'm sure.
So those people probably I was out of the lawyers. Edgar, I was a big fan of Edgar. When I started as a trainee, he was one of the first advocates that I met, and he was a one-off, and nobody could be like him, but it's nice to think you could have 5 minutes being like him every now and again, and he was a phenomenon. I remember when I was at Gallon's and we had a case, and it was 3 people bringing in drugs from Holland, I think it was, and we had been brought into it by solicitors in Stranraer and Dumfries because the same solicitor had all 3, and 2 of them pled guilty. Our guy pled guilty, another boy pled guilty, and Edgar's boy went to trial. And it was blind panic in the office because Edgar was so good that it was looking as if he was going to get off, and we were thinking, this Dutch guy is going to go mad, because we advised him, you've got no chance, mate, you need to put your hands up and get your discount. And Edgar gave us a horrendous 2 weeks where he was tearing everybody apart. And fortunately, at the end of it, he got convicted, but he's the most charismatic advocate I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I've no doubt about that.
Yeah, he's still a big loss to the bar, isn't he?
Yes,
yeah.
He's brilliant. I mean, he's a complete opposite of the way I approach it, because he never read anything, it was all instinct, and he would read maybe the statement, but he never get the idea there was any real planning or preparation or anything. But he was absolutely brilliant. I remember doing a trial with him, and it was a knife fight in Pork, and there was twins. They were very, very young, and they were going about causing mayhem. They were only 16 or something, and trying to make a name for themselves, slashing people and stabbing people. And our boy had just decided enough's enough. And unwisely, he told everybody in Pork he was going to stab the 2 of them, and then he chased them. And Edgar was cross-examining this kid who was about 12. And Edgar said to him, what time do you have to go in it? And the boy said, what? And he said, what time does, Edgar was playing to it, and he said, what time does your mummy tell you that you have to go in it? You know, he's like, you fucking effing talking about, nobody effing tells me what time I've got to go in. And of course he was playing it for everything that was worth, and the jury were rolling about laughing. And he went to do his jury speech, and he was going through, and he said, and you'll remember young Mr. Smith, aged 14, what can I say about Mr. Smith? Well, Harry Potter, he ain't. And the court just interrupted it. It was Andrew Hardy who was on the beam, and he was laughing. And we still get done, but you know, it was just, I thought, whatever else I do, you got to remember that the most important people here are the jury. You're not the most important. The judge is not the most important, you know, and Edgar just had it, you know, he didn't care what the judge thought or what the opposition thought, you know, it was all about, if the jury like me, even if the case is hopeless, I've got a 1% chance, you know, and so definitely, legally, Edgar.
Absolutely. And juries did like it. And obviously, Edgar's still alive and kicking well. And we're talking about him, we're just talking as in his professional life is at the bar ended, but juries just loved him. I mean, you couldn't feel not to love Edgar and his character and his. He
phoned, actually, I was doing a case with him not long before he retired, and my younger daughter Rachel would have been about 6 maybe, and when the phone goes and one of the kids gets the phone, you listen for a second or two, suspecting it's her granny or her auntie or something, you know, and everything's all right. So I was kind of listening, and Rachel was having this conversation, and she said, yes, my name is Rachel, and I'm in primary 2 and all this. And I was like, who the hell is he talking to? So I was running through, thinking there was some horrible individual on the phone, you know, and tore the phone off her, and it was Ed. How you doing? He's like, oh, Rachel answered the phone. I'm just asking her how, you know, anybody else. And the kid answers the phone. It's like, can I speak to your dad? You know, but Edgar was asking her if she went to the Brownies and what she did in primary 4 and all that. It was just
a great guy. He really is.
I'm talking about him as if he's not about any longer.
I know, exactly. And
any longer.
There was a period where my parents started following me to work. In fact, they came to watch the Webster trial that Edgar was leading in.
Oh, aye.
He was just, you know, he brought them in like old pals and took them for coffee when we had breaks, and he's just a unique, brilliant individual. Absolutely. Oh, this is turning into the Edgar Praise show, but anyway, it's well deserved. Okay, let's see where we are. Jings, where are we? We're at question 16. Tommy, favourite chocolate bar?
Actually, the vegan thing restricts me a wee bit, but Alison's dad asked us to get him vitamins, and we went to Holland and Barrett a couple of weeks ago, and they have got the best dark vegan chocolate available.
Okay.
2 bars for about £3. So that is my current favourite. My daughter Rachel absolutely assures me that Fry's chocolate cream is vegan, and I'm happy with that. I'm not carrying out any research because I love it. I mean, I look at the label and I don't see any reference to milk or egg.
Okay.
So please, if you know that it's not vegan, don't tell me, because I'm quite happy with Fry's chocolate cream and Holland and Barrett black chocolate.
Quite right. Question 17, Tommy, what's the fanciest event you've been to?
That's a tough one. I mean, other than faculty events, I've never really been anything that was all that fancy. I did, when I was the president of the Colonel Bar Association, get invited to a few faculty things which involved the English bar and the Welsh bar and the Irish bar and that kind of thing, and they were, I suppose, a bit fancy. But right off the wall, I would say I was at a party a few years ago 50th birthday party, and there was a guy who was a musician who was playing at the party, a guy called Colin MacLeod from Lewis, and Colin MacLeod is a musician who has played on the same bill as Robert Plant and Van Morrison and Roger Waters and Sheryl Crow. And he built a wee stage, and he was playing on the stage and I was the DJ. So I don't know if that counts as fancy, but I like it. I like the idea I can say I've been in the same stage as a guy that was in the same stage as Van Morrison.
Absolutely. I think that counts, Tommy, definitely. Question 18. What quirks do you have?
Oh God, if you asked Alison this, that would be the whole hour, you know. I'm just a bit kind of OCD, you know. I like kind of order. If I get papers from somebody and they're kind of thrown together, even if it's for a PH, you know, if somebody says, "Go, could you cover this PH?" It's a not guilty and we're fixing a trial. I'll spend an hour putting everything into order with separators and all that kind of stuff, you know. And if I gave you a file that I'd looked at yesterday and one that I looked at 20 years ago, it'd be exactly the same, you know. Everything's in exactly the same order. So there's that, but I don't think it's harmful, really, you know. I think for all that, I think I'm quite laid back. I just like to kind of know where things are. But, you know, my brother-in-law, he used to have a system for you couldn't have a tin of pineapples beside a tin of soup and all that, you know, and that's real crazy stuff. So although I've got OCD, I don't think it affects my personal life, really. I think it's just a kind of work thing. But other than that, I don't know. I think quite kind of happy with everything. I'm quite happy with the way I live, and I don't think I make anybody else's life a misery, so I'm quite happy with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Question 19. What job, Tommy, would you be terrible at?
Well, I know that I was terrible as a staff partner when I was in my old firm, you know, so and anything that really involves being part of a team, I'm not good at that. I prefer just to go away and do my own thing. I wasn't very good at kind of disciplining staff. I was a bit too kind of nice. I mean, if somebody had been terrible, I would spend 3 days trying to work out how I was going to tackle it, you know, and I only realised how terrible I was at it when I managed to pass it on to one of the female partners, and she was like a tornado, you know. She'd be standing at the door waiting for the member of staff to come in at 8:30, and then it was straight into the office to, you know, sort it out, whereas I would have spent a week trying to work out, oh, I don't want to upset her, and I don't want, you know, so I know anything that involves my hands, you know, joinery, plumbing, anything like that, absolutely useless. So pretty much everything, other than, I'm not too bad at doing what I do, but other than that, pretty much hopeless at anything.
Oh, well, you definitely found your 40 year better than not too bad, Tommy.
Yeah.
Question number 20. What is the weirdest talent that you have?
Well, I don't know if it's only talent I could claim to have other than law, as I've done a wee bit of DJing, which I suppose would surprise some people. Okay. I did something like this actually for the Scottish Legal News a few years ago, and I'd mentioned in it that I fancied being a DJ once I'd given up the law. And a guy who I knew from school a wee bit has raised an enormous amount of money for Erskine Hospital. Mm-hmm. And just as chance would have it, he was organising a Northern Soul Night to try and raise money for Erskine. And he asked me, as I had wanted to be a DJ, did I want to come and do a half hour at this? Uh-huh. So I had the software on my iPad, and I spent weeks working on the playlist, because these people are real enthusiasts, you know. And I went along with my iPad and my playlist, and then I realised when I got there that they're such purists that they don't actually allow computers, so it's vinyl only.
All right.
I never had any vinyl, so it all went up in the air, and I ended up doing half an hour with records which I had borrowed from somebody. And I kind of swiftly realised that I had no future in that, because I wasn't going to spend £10,000 replacing my music collection with vinyl anytime soon. And also, it's a bit kind of niche, you know. They don't really like playing any artists that anybody's ever heard of. So I've done a wee bit of that. Since then, I did that one with Colin McLeod that I mentioned earlier, and other than that, I've done some stuff for the SCBA, and I get an invite. One of the great traditions of the Glasgow Bar Association is that they still have Stephen Semple, who died prematurely a few years ago, used to organise a quiz night, and we keep the quiz night going every year, sometimes every 2 years. And the last 3 or 4 times they've done it, I've been doing the background music. It's a bit of a strange one, because I've got about 3 minutes between quiz rounds. And so I spend the 2 months building up to it, listening to music and trying to find things that have got a big 20 seconds at the start, you know. And once you start doing it, I heard there's a guy, Mendieta, who was a famous Spanish footballer, and I heard him get interviewed, and he just hit the nail on the head. He said, once you start doing it, listening to music's never going to be the same, because you never listen to anything all the way through. You're just thinking, oh, that would be good for so-and-so's birthday party, or I never thought of that. That's got a really good first 30 seconds, you know, and I better download that on my phone before I forget about it. So I like it. It's good fun, and I'm never going to make any money at it, and nor am I going to get on the Northern Soul circuit, because the minute you play Stevie Wonder or Sly and the Family Stone or something, you get barred, you know. You've got to play some artist for Chicago in 1964 that only ever had a B-side, you know, released, and got to 140 in the charts. You get that, you've got a big career in the circuit, but the minute you start playing Sister Sledge, you're out.
All right, and the final question, Tommy, is what have you enjoyed most about lockdown?
Just getting a rest. I've been working pretty hard, and everybody says I've never got on top of the work-life balance, and it's 100% right. So I'm working and really going, it's 100%. I used to take 2 weeks off when the kids were at school, because that was the only time we could do it. And since they stopped school, which is now a few years ago, we've just been kind of working on the basis, well, first time I get 2 weeks off, we'll go somewhere, and I've never had 2 weeks off. So I went away in 2017 to Italy for a wedding anniversary. 5 years before that, I went to New York for a wedding anniversary, and other than that, I've never had 2 weeks off in 10 years. So, this is a kind of enforced rest. And I did kind of enjoy it at the start. You know, I just decided this is going to be a long haul, do things I've not been able to do. But I like working, you know. I like working. I'm missing it now, you know. I don't want to go back to working 6 days a week, but I'd like to be back in court, you know. I've had enough of it now. So it's been nice. It's been nice hanging about, seeing a bit more of Alison and the kids and the grandkids and all that. But even that has been a bit restricted. So I've made the most of it. I've done things that I've never had the time to do before. But ironically, I never thought I would retire. And for the first couple of weeks, I thought maybe it wouldn't be so bad. But now, by the time this finishes, I'm going to have spent all my money. So I'm never going to be able to retire. I'm going to have to work till I'm 90. So I'm kind of treating this as a early retirement with a plan to come back to work at the earliest opportunity.
That's a good way. That's a good plan. And we see your little dogs in the background as well. Spending time with them. She's been very quiet. They're good. I've bought this couch in the background just for them, because when I'm working in here, the two of them come in and sit with me. Uh-huh. But, and
Ruby, who's the one you can see is as good as gold, but all I would need is for me either to stand up or lift my phone, and she would go absolutely mad until I opened the back door and let her out. So as soon as you cut off the record button, that's the next thing that's going to happen. But they're great. They've kind of, we've spent a lot of time actually in the Lake District in the last few years, and the main reason is we don't really want to leave them. Used to leave them with Alison's parents, and they're in their late 80s now, so that's not really an option, and we wouldn't put them in kennels, so they kind of restrict us, but we take them to the Lake District and walk them a bit, and there's some nice real ale down there, so it's a win-win.
Yeah, you used to tell me that because you used to go occasionally to Alvor where we holiday and just past it, and you used to say, "Oh, we don't go anymore because the dogs." And I thought that's utterly mental. Like, oh, my dog, and I'm quite at that stage that I wouldn't go on holiday when we can. But she's sleeping over there in a cushion. So I get it. You do miss them, don't you?
Aye, and it's only recently been a problem because my daughter Rachel stayed at home, and then even when she moved away, she would come back and stay for a week and watch them. But she's had 2 babies in 2 years, so it's asking a lot for her to watch 2 dogs on top of all that. So we're just taking a wee break, and I hate airports. I love being in Portugal, and I've been 100 times, and I know a lot of people over there, and my sisters both. One of my sisters is there 24/7, and the other one's there about 3 months a year now. And I love it, but I hate the going and the coming back, and and then we've got the problem with the dogs. So the last time we went from Thursday till Monday, just to get around all the practical problems, and we quite enjoyed it. In fact, maybe that's what we'll do in future. But I don't know when we'll get back. But I don't think it's going to be forever. But they're good wee dogs, and you say once you've got one yourself, you can understand the attachment.
Yeah, I used to really dislike people that had dogs. I thought they were all nuts. And I've probably become the nuttiest, maddest dog woman that there is. I don't know.
I know. And I resisted it. I didn't want them, but I was bullied into it by Victoria when she turned 16, and she said, "It's my 16th birthday, and if you don't buy me a dog, don't buy me anything." So there's no coming back for that.
Absolutely.
And since then, we've never been without them.
Yeah. Oh, good company. Anyway, Tommy, thank you so much. That was so interesting. Really enjoyed listening to your answers and just chatting with you. Thank you so much for taking part. Before I let you go, can I ask you please to nominate someone else to take the quiz? I
nominate Brian McConaughey, QC.
Okay, we will get on to Brian, see if he's up for that. But Tommy, thank you so much again.
I think he will be.
You think he will be? I hope to see you very soon.
Okay, see you later. Bye.
Bye.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Hey Legal Quiz. We are releasing more episodes weekly, so please sign up for free to Hey Legal on our website to access our free content, legal updates and more. Plus follow us on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram and on all podcasting platforms.